So good morning or good afternoon or good evening wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders would like to welcome an incredibly inspiring young woman, ski instructor and personal trainer, Eleanor Fausing. So welcome, Eleanor.
Hiya, thank you for having me.
So Eleanor, firstly I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. And would like to commend you on what you are achieving at such a young age and for being willing to share your story with us. So please can you share with us more about your background and how you discovered your passion for skiing and pursuing a career as a ski instructor?
No problem. So thank you for having me, first of all. And so I started skiing sort of when I was 3 years old. So I don't actually remember anything about it, but I do remember, well, my parents said that I really enjoyed it. And I think from then, we've just been going as family, as families skiing together. And I think we went every year for a kind of family ski trip around Easter or half term. And it was literally like the highlight of my whole year, pretty much. I loved it. I mean, I was always sporty at school, but basically what happened is I went to quite an academic school, and they kind of not forced us, but kind of put us into the path of university and after A-levels. So I kind of really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went and pursued a kind of art and design degree, but it just wasn't right for me. And I actually dropped out of 2 universities to do a kind of textiles degree and design and jewelry design, that kind of thing. And I just decided, because I had no idea what I wanted to do and I'd always loved skiing, I decided to just go for the level 1 and 2 kind of gap year course. I was a little bit older at this point. I was 20. So I was on the course with, kind of 17, 18-year-olds, but I basically just decided to go for it because I'd always loved skiing. Yeah. And probably within about the second week, I realized that this was me. I wanted to do it. And it was a pretty simple decision, actually. But at the time, I had only just started it, so I needed to see where it all was going and how I could make it a viable career, that kind of thing. So I've always loved skiing, but I almost accidentally fell into it as a career. But thank goodness I did.
Yes. Well, it's important to love what you do. So, so sometimes the road is not always straight, as you know, so to get to that. So obviously your road to discovery, your passion for skiing, you faced some personal challenges with a number of eating disorders. So can you please share with us a little more about this and how you overcame this, and when did the mental shift take place for you?
Yeah, of course. So it's something that I've never really kind of talked about with the skiing, but it played a massive part. So when I was about 16, 17, I've had kind of anxiety for quite a long time before that, but when I was 16, 17, it kind of turned into something more real. And struggled with, at first, just stopped eating completely for 2 weeks, which was obviously an absolute disaster. And I lost, a stone of weight. And it kind of ended up being this, I mean, obviously because that was quite a dramatic moment, people noticed quite quickly, which was really good. So I got help really, really early on, which was amazing. But I then did struggle with kind of not eating very much during the week and then overeating, or what I thought was overeating, at the weekend. So it was this yo-yo kind of back and forth diet, I guess.
Yeah.
And then what it turned into was, as I was being told to eat more, I realized I actually loved food, and this is where the problem stemmed from, was I loved food so much I wanted loads of it.
Yeah.
So it actually turned into a binge eating disorder, which lasted a while. And I never looked overweight or massively underweight, so you would never really think about it, you know, as me having this issue, unless you were living with me day to day and, you know, having to help me through meal times.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was massive. And then I went through a phase of kind of massively controlling and calorie counting everything that I ate, which was, again, pretty much a disaster, because I couldn't then, if I went wrong or went over or under, it would be just not a great day.
Yeah.
So but the massive thing for me was that I'd been through all of this as a, well, kind of 16, 17-year-old, but I'd still been skiing.
Yeah.
And that week would always be a normal week. And I never really thought about it until I started this ski instructing thing. So when I dropped out of my second university and I thought kind of, what the hell, I'll just try this level 1 and 2 gap course, the ski course.
Yeah.
I never really thought about what skiing did for me mentally as well. So the mental shift for me was really when I started the level 1 course. I was out in Val d'Isere, and I was doing the gap course, and the food issue sort of just disappeared for me. Not completely. There are things I've been, you know, work on, and, you know, for example, when I come home out of this mountain environment, then sometimes little things and anxieties, not to do with food, but sometimes anxieties do come back. But actually, when I was in that mountain environment, it kind of all just resolved itself, which is another way I knew that this was the right career and what I was meant to be doing.
Oh, that's amazing.
For me. Yeah.
So you came back from an injury and smashed your instructor exam. Can you share with us more about your biggest lessons and learnings through this?
So I actually, so I did so you have level 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the British system, the ski instructor system. So I was doing my level 3, and it was the technical exam, so it was the big kind of performance exam. And basically what happened was I fell, not on the exam, just before it. And I did both of my ACLs, so both knees had to be reconstructed. So that was massive. It took about a year to get back to where I was, physically and mentally. But I think also, during that time, during the rehab, I qualified as a personal trainer, which was an extra bit of a bonus.
That's amazing.
Because it helped me through my rehab so much, because of getting to know my body and working in the gym and that kind of thing. But actually, the biggest thing that I learned really was that every day you have the opportunity to do something, and if you are consistent with anything, you will see progress. And I think for me, I really had to work on perseverance, but more importantly, patience.
Patience is not the easiest thing.
I'm not a particularly patient person, but it forced me to become more patient, especially, you know, and celebrate those little victories as well. For example, I remember one day I managed to climb up the stairs for the first time, and it was I hadn't done that in about a month.
Wow.
Just because it was both knees that I was having to recover, so both knees were quite unstable. So I think perseverance, patience and consistency was the main thing that I got from that, and more of just an appreciation of what you can do with your body when you really take care of it, I think.
Absolutely.
Well,
so having a passion for skiing, what made you decide to pursue a career as a ski instructor versus being a competitive ski athlete?
Well, that's pretty easy for me. I actually always wanted to be a racer. when I was little and I loved ski holidays, that was what I wanted to be, but it was never an option just because you have to start that very young.
Yeah.
And my family are based in, well, just outside of Oxford. So very flat, no access to mountains. And that decision was just made for us. And I was doing so much sport at school as well, that it just wasn't really an option. But I think the teaching is actually a better fit for me. My mum was a teacher. My grandma is a teacher, and I've got various teachers in my family, and I think the teaching gene was definitely passed down to me. And actually I've got, I'd say, a healthy obsession with skiing, if an obsession can be healthy. And I think seeing people improve and then learn to love it, if they have been scared or apprehensive or anything like that, is just so much nicer for me. And I really like that part of it more than I think if I did any kind of racing properly.
Amazing. What has been your biggest highlight or so far in your journey of skiing and fitness?
I think it's not really an event or a defining moment, but I think it's realizing over the past few years now is that I've actually got a direction that I want to go in with my life. Because at school you get, funneled through all of these exams, and you basically just do what you're good at. And then, for me, university just didn't really work out. So I think I was feeling pretty lost for quite a few years when I, didn't know what I wanted to do, was trying things and it just wasn't working for me. And I think the biggest highlight can be that actually I now know what I want to do, and I'm still committed to it after quite a few years, and I still love it the same as I always have. So I think that's probably the best thing that I've got from it.
Yes, absolutely. And it doesn't always have to be like a massive highlight of meeting like a famous person or something. It can just be something small and significant. So
I think we come into contact with so many different people, and there have been so many amazing people that I've met teaching in Zermatt this season as well, before it got cut short. But actually that's just part of the job, really. And I think knowing that I still want to do this is the best thing for me.
Absolutely.
Really.
So as a sports coach, what are some of the most rewarding parts of being, and has this helped you through your own personal challenges?
I think the most rewarding moments of either being a personal trainer or a ski instructor is that you can change someone's perspective on a certain thing. And I love it the most when, for example, if I've got a ski client, and not all nervous people are women, but quite a few people and clients that I have had who have been really nervous have been women, and they've been mothers as well. So it adds to kind of that anxiousness, because if they get injured, who's going to do, drop the kids off at school or do the cooking and that kind of thing. So I think quite a few nervous clients that I have had, it's been really amazing to see them progress and actually learn to love skiing. Maybe not as much as I do, but for what they need, they really enjoy it. And I had one lady who was really nervous, had a bad experience before and had hurt her back and fallen or something. And she then, I had a couple of days with her this season, afternoons, and the second afternoon she told me she'd already been up on the slopes practicing before she wanted to meet me. And so that was amazing, because she chose to go up early by herself and practice, which was really good, because I didn't expect that at all. So that was really, really good. But I think it it does help you have, when you have those moments, it really helps you day to day, kind of, it puts a smile on your face. But
and also, I guess it helps with people's confidence, because I do think confidence does play a role in these things, I would imagine.
Massively, yeah. And it boosts my confidence as well, because it makes me know that I'm doing a good job, I guess. And I think it's really important for me to have those moments where I realize and I remember, oh yeah, this is why I do this job. This is amazing. And for example, my parents getting into fitness and personal training at home, I've been coaching them whilst I've been back at home this spring, and they're actually enjoying it, and they haven't for quite a while. So it's nice to see them just kind of having fun and relaxing, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's really important for me to have these moments because it reminds me of why I'm doing it. But I don't think it's helped me through any bigger issues that I might have. It just reminds me that this is something that I love to do, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've traveled to many parts of Europe. What would you say has been your best ski experience, or the best place or location that you have personally experienced as a skier?
So my family, we tended to go on holiday to places in France, which was amazing. Really good ski resorts. But I think the best places for me, they've got to be three, so Val d'Isère in France was where I did my initial 1, 2 and 3 qualifications, and that was where it kind of sparked everything off, I guess. It was where it all started. And I just love it because of that, and I'll be grateful for the people who were there coaching me for giving me that. So Val d'Isère has got to be up there. And then Zermatt, which is where I was teaching this winter. It was phenomenal. I've been there before on holiday, but never really experienced everything. So for example, in Zermatt, you can go and ski from Switzerland over to Cervinia in Italy.
Oh, wow.
And it's phenomenal. Like, it's just a massive kind of day trip that you can do. You can ski all the way over and come all the way back. And it's just, I think having that option really makes it really special. And I think also, I mean, I've been really fortunate with clients this winter to be taken to some really nice mountain restaurants as well. And the skiing, I love it. It's really good. It's really nice. And the town is like nothing I've ever experienced before. It's amazing. Just really nice. And then probably I used to teach in this place called Champoluc in Italy as well, which was really lovely and really relaxed. So I think those 3 places. Oh, I have 3 favorites.
Yes.
Yeah.
So being a ski instructor is a big part of being. Sorry, let me just rephrase it. So being a ski instructor, so what is the base part, and what is important to health and fitness and diet, and what do you personally do to stay healthy, and what is your routine to help you and keep you fit, and are there some things that help you or your clients with you being a ski instructor? I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm just...
Yeah, so I think obviously we've got to stay fit for the job. Yes. And it's even the things you don't think of are not just skiing, is, carrying someone else's skis.
Yes.
Because they're new and they don't know how to do it, or, things like this. It takes a lot of energy out of you. And I basically started my Instagram account, Eleanor Fausing, because I wanted to promote skiing, fitness, and everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
And now actually I've focused on the fitness side of it because I think that's more important for people in the long term, something that they can do them by themselves before they get to a holiday. Because there's not much you can do once you're there for a week's holiday to say, let's improve your fitness. Your fitness will improve just by skiing and everything. But I mean, I've had quite a up and down kind of, I don't know, a few years with my fitness, because obviously I had my ACL injuries. So I had a lot of coming back fitness-wise to do from that with my rehab and physio and everything. But then a year later, I think it was a year later, I got diagnosed with hypothyroidism. So I've got an underactive thyroid, which I struggled with for a while, trying to stabilize it. And I actually tried various different things, you know, to help me continue at the level I wanted to, kind of fitness wise. And it's only really settled down in the last 6 months, and I've been pretty good for the last 6 months. But there's still days where, you know, your energy drops and everything. So I mean, for me, it's sort of a kind of ever-changing routine. So I try and work out 5-6 times a week, not massively at all, just keeping things ticking over. And then that might decrease when I'm out in the winter and teaching, because I'd be working on the mountain for quite a long time. But I think it's super important to keep fit and healthy, and flexible as well. For me, that's one thing that if I do feel a bit unstable or anything like this, the flexibility. If I am flexible, it can prevent me from feeling stiff, and that then helps me from feeling tired when I'm on the mountain. But for clients, it's kind of difficult one. The most you can really say to them is kind of do things for recovery after the mountain, after your day on the mountain. So, you know, booking a massage or going for a hot bath or stretching out a little bit is kind of the best thing that you can say to them, just because you want them to be okay for the next day and not sore. Really.
Because I guess people, when they start to learn and they start to do that, then you start to use body muscles that you haven't practically used in a while.
Yes, I've had quite a few clients this winter who have gone, oh, didn't know it could hurt there. And I was like, yeah, that means you're doing it right. That's good. Keep doing it.
Amazing.
So that's good.
So is it too late to learn how to ski, and what are some of the best tips you have for those who are starting out, no matter what age they are?
So I don't think it's ever too late to learn to ski. I've had some clients this winter and in previous winters who have been beginners, and they've been well over 60 years old.
Wow.
And I think the thing is that if you keep yourself fit and healthy, then you are massively increasing your chances of being able to pick it up. And I think obviously it's easier if you start aged, you know, between 4 and 15 years old. But I've had, you know, if you're 65 years old and are learning to ski, you're not going into this process with the intention of firing down every single run as fast as you can.
No.
So it's, well, you might, but you probably won't get that. But I mean, you know, you can always do, I think, what's appropriate for your age. So I don't think it's too late to start to learn ski, and especially if you go to a place like Zermatt, for example, where if you go down one of the nice blue runs, you can get to loads of lovely restaurants, loads of views, and actually you can have a really lovely day skiing and get the full experience without having to ski massively scary runs. So I think the main thing is if you try and keep yourself fit and healthy, and I think especially quite strong, because you can always improve your kind of cardiovascular fitness whilst you're out there. The week does or a few days does a lot for you in that respect. But I think if you can come into a ski holiday, if you're a beginner, being quite strong, physically strong, then you're going to have a better time, and you're going to be able to do it for more days because you won't stiffen up or anything like this.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So that leads me to the last question. What is your biggest vision, and what legacy would you like to leave?
I think in the last few years, that's quite a difficult question. In the last maybe 2 years ago, I would have said, actually, all I want to do is ski, and I want to teach people skiing all the time and just go with that. But actually, I've got a bit of a different vision now. I want to definitely keep teaching on the mountain because I love it. But I think because I love it so much, and the injuries and the hypothyroidism as well that I've been through, and well, I'm still dealing with the hypothyroidism, I think that side, the physical fitness and the health and well-being side, and the mental health as well, I've been through issues with that. I think that is definitely as important to me now as the skiing. So what I want to do is I want to be able to teach skiing for my own kind of just enjoyment during the winter, but also carry on more with personal training, strength and conditioning, recovery, maybe qualify as a sports massage therapist. That's something I've been thinking about, and try and get people more aware of the health and fitness side of it, and then almost use skiing, because they're healthy and fit, almost use skiing as a kind of mental health therapy, I guess, and getting away from normal life and having fun with it. So I think that's why on my Instagram I've been focusing on the health and fitness side and the strength and everything like this, so that when people come out to the mountains and see me, then they should have a better time, and then we can use the time that we have on the mountain as just having fun and relaxing and getting away from normal life that's really busy and stressful. So I think what I want from the future is just being able to incorporate both. And I guess we'll see where it goes. I mean, I've had so many changes and twists and turns that if I plan too far ahead, it won't ever happen like that.
Things change so fast. So I understand.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So if people want to get in contact or follow you, like what's the best way for them to connect?
So my Instagram is Eleanor Fausing, and I actually will be setting up a YouTube channel at some point in the next few weeks, using lockdown as a good way of doing more with my day.
Get all the admin done now.
But yeah, so I'm on Instagram, and then there's a Facebook account linked with that as well, business page, and hopefully we'll have my website up and running in a few weeks' time as well. But it's mainly Instagram at the moment.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we can have you back in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.